What is up, guys? Welcome to the Mangaku for April. We're doing Dead Mount Death Play Volumes 1 through 3. So for those of you who are new around here, we'll start off the videos with Did We Like It? A quick summary. So that will be spoiler-free. If you wanted to know if you should read Dead Mount Death Play, that section will be for you. And then we will give plenty of warning beforehand, and then we'll go into a spoiler, actually it's just full spoiler review of Did We Like It? What we think, what happened, whatever. Joining me is
Josh.
Jose.
And I'm Sam. So let's start off. No spoiler, no anything else. Just in case someone wants to know, do you guys like it? Josh, what do you think? Yes,
It's good.
It's good. Jose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Would
So
you like to
if
know
you
what
just
I'd compare it to?
sure. What do you say? I think it's the closest. To?
I don't know why it reminds me of Black Clover.
That's interesting. I
Wow,
would not
I didn't get
agree
that
as much
deal.
with that, but we could talk about it later.
Yep.
That's weird because I
Um,
don't feel like I read trash.
Okay, well that's just
Oof.
a harsh opinion.
I like Black Clover.
Black Clover's great. So
It's hurtful, Jose. I definitely did like it. The one of the spoilery complaints, and it's really going to actually fuck us.
is
rather
it a
than anyone.
non-spoiler complaint you're about to say?
It's a non-spoiler complaint.
Okay.
I already told you it
Yeah.
earlier. It's really fucking us because we try to do a review of like the whole story and go over it. Every fucking chapter has a different situation going on. And
Yep.
to kind of like sum up everything, like there's overarching themes, but to like sum up everything, you're trying to remember what happened in the first volume, and you're like, wait, who's this person?
Yeah. It definitely gets a little lost in translation.
And because there's such separations, like they have so many subplots going on at the
There's
same
a
time.
lot of characters.
There's
in this.
so
Good.
many
A lot of
characters.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I cannot keep track of the
Yeah.
characters'
It
names,
is-
so I will only refer to the main character as Polka Dot.
Yeah.
So, quick summary for those of you guys who want to know a little bit more about what Dead Mount Death Play is. It's a classic isekai, which is when somebody gets transported from another world to a new one. And it follows a necromancer who, right as he was about to be defeated, learns or already knew the reincarnation spell, and he gets reincarnated into another world as a kid named Polka.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And then he falls into a group of
They're like
what is it called? Troublemakers.
Troublemakers
now.
is what I was gonna
Troubled
say.
Troublemakers,
youth.
and it works out from there. And that's as much as I want to say without spoiling any of it. So if that sounds at all interesting to you, it is a good read. It's pretty violent
got
when it
great
does actually
combat.
kick off.
I love that.
Violent and graphic. So in both the gore department and the nudity department. So
Let's just call it the lewd department.
yeah, so they kind of take both the boxes. So if that sounds good to you, definitely check this out.
Yeah.
We all liked it a lot. So with that, we're gonna head into spoilers.
Spoilers!
My favorite question is, would you continue reading this?
Okay, yeah. Would you guys continue reading it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, yeah. I would say yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Where it ends in volume 3 is a fucking cliffhanger.
Which
so
is something we've
we'll
gotten
talk
very
towards
good
the
at
end.
doing.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll talk
wow.
towards the end.
So we're gonna head into the spoiler territory now. Thank you guys for watching. If you just want to check out the first part, and be sure to come back if you end up reading it and let us know what you think. So volume 1, right? Let's start
Yeah.
right from the beginning because I thought they did
Mhm.
something really unique, which I wanted to give a little bit of a warning for the summary part that it was kind of spoilery, because I feel like the first chapter. First of all, the chapters are long.
Yeah,
Very.
they are
Chapters are
very
long.
long.
Very. It
Um,
was disheartening.
yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, and they did something where they very much played it close to the chest, where you didn't know who it was that got reincarnated.
Yes.
Right?
in the
Oh my
first
god,
chapter.
Thank you.
I had the
But
hardest
it's
time.
like I already knew the summary, so I knew it was the necromancer.
yeah.
But they really played it as like
It could have been.
it could have
Shiguro.
been both.
You know
Yeah,
what this does
Shiguro,
remind me
yeah.
of though? Devil's a part-timer.
Yeah, definitely,
It-
definitely.
That's the one that was definitely like one of those like.
I don't think it reminded me in any way, shape, or form other than just like a nostalgia weird feel. But
Yeah.
do you remember that? I don't remember the name of the anime, but it was a kid is actually an adult and he was a super detective.
oh,
Conan?
Detective Conan.
Detective Conan.
Yeah.
For some reason, the entire time I was reading this, it kept going back to Detective Conan in the back of my head, and it was more, I guess, because the necromancer is
Yeah.
this ancient person inside a kid's body. But yeah, it was.
But they
super
really
good, but
played
they
it
did,
like
I,
they played it hard.
I
Like,
just thought I
just-
was bad at reading.
yeah.
I was so confused. I was just like, did the hero do it or was it the monster? I am so confused right now.
Yeah, and then when they finally you see for sure that it is the
The
corpse god,
Yeah,
which is
the necromancer.
the necromancer's name. Then it cuts back immediately to you see the hero is still like doing his thing
He's
in the
like,
other world.
oh, I tried to cut him, but I don't know. It just kind of
Yeah,
vanished.
But the cool thing about that, and I don't like, just to add to that point, you're automatically like when you're starting to read Corpse God's the bad guy, this
Yeah.
guy's the good
Yeah.
guy, and the corpse guy's like, oh, you're just like me. It's like classic villain tropes. It's like, oh, we're the same coin or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, I got to do this. Like, I can't allow this to happen. Like, he seems like a genuinely good guy when he's reincarnated. And you're like, oh, maybe it could be the knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And then it turns out to be corpse guy. And you're like, oh, wait, he's a good guy?
Yeah.
And so
he just wanted peace, man. That's all he
so
wanted.
Cool.
Yeah.
I,
It was really well done.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's like the whole thing you see. Like, I love the part where he like fucking obliterated what's her name, Misaki. Misaki.
yeah.
And he was like, "Now I'll torture you, get all the information." I was like,
And
"Fuck,
she's just
is she dead?"
yeah, like they could go 20
he's-
rounds.
Yeah, he's
normally.
like, fuck. He's like, fuck. What do I do? And he starts feeling bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amelia's like, "Ah, shit." It's just
yeah.
like, did not mean to do that.
But
Then like the girls come in and they have
Yeah.
like that whole like, who are you kind of thing, and then like,
Yeah.
what am I seeing? Oh, the cam guy,
I like him.
I
like
always
him a
forget his
lot,
name.
too.
I forget his name.
Takumi.
Yeah, Takumi.
Wow, we're pulling him out our ass right now.
He's doing it.
yeah.
I vaguely remember their names.
But he's really cool.
really funny. I like him.
I'm waiting for that reveal.
But I really related to him because it's just like he was so funny, and I like the times where it's like
So
the
you
police
admit you're
officer.
funny, huh?
Fast forward a little bit, we're gonna be jumping around. The police officer is like trying to get a rise out of him, and
Yeah.
like is telling Polka, it's like, listen, in a heartbeat, he'll turn you in. He's
oh,
like,
the
yeah,
Yakuza guy.
yeah.
He's
Badass
like,
dude.
yeah, I will.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then he's
yeah.
like, that's fine.
Yeah, it's like my man. So he's like, it's like, it's fine. I'll tell everybody whatever secrets you already know. So
But that phone call though, he's
Yeah.
like,
Ooh.
hey, like, don't mess with them. They're
Yeah.
just like online gamer friends.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with it. And it was like, dude, that is a fucking play. Like, that was some
Good
ballsy
guy, good
shit.
guy.
Yeah.
So going back to the beginning, he accidentally kills the girl,
Yeah.
and then you meet Clarissa almost
Yeah,
immediately.
like
she
runs right in.
busts in with all of her people, and it's
Yeah.
like ready to fucking
Kill him.
Yeah.
basically kill him. Yeah, and you immediately see she's cool as fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
She is cool as fuck.
Shady as fuck.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, oh yeah,
still
she's
cool.
into some shit. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And I think they mentioned later that she is basically a troublemaker as well.
Yeah.
Clarissa.
Yeah.
Well,
They give her a title, right? She's like
Yeah.
she's the mediator.
the mediator.
But she also like the first scissor scene, which is it comes out of the fucking
yeah, you literally turn the page and you're like, oh, they're
Nice.
Yeah,
fucking
there's nudity in this big time,
And
and it's a
it's-
threesome.
It is
girl on girl action.
But she's like, people are like, oh, how come you picked him up? Like,
Yeah.
he seemed kind of weird. And they're like, well, we found out he likes kids, or he cares for kids, so
Yeah.
I can manipulate him. And it's like, oh fuck, you're just playing cards out like that
Yeah.
that quickly.
Yep.
But you still throughout the set, like the reading, you don't hate her.
No,
Like,
no, yeah,
you
she
know
was super
she's-
cool
And
about
she
everything.
does it multiple times.
Yeah.
Where it's like fast forward again. One time she was being questioned, like, why do you have that kid?
Yep.
He's like, and she's like, oh well, why wouldn't I want an end to the
Yeah.
Shinoyama family? And he's like, oh okay. It's like he tells the police officer that. And he's like,
Straightforward.
that makes sense. It's like, yeah.
I did definitely. So there's a few like bits throughout it, but like just the genuine dynamic or the general dynamic between the cops and her.
Yeah.
or, like,
Oh, those are great.
it is so stressful
Yeah.
to read, but it's like at all
I
points.
just love the fact that the cops know like that's where the shit's going down, but they
they-
can't do anything about
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he keeps coming there, but because he's like, I know,
yeah.
like this is where it's happening. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's like there's that horror movie, The Collector. So they do this top-down shot where you can see the rooms that are separated,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the killer is walking towards the guy, and it's one of those classic scenarios where they're like right next to each other and they keep walking past each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, he's gonna walk into the room and he's already out of the room,
Yeah.
and it's like it stressed me out. Like, but it's so cool that they can get away with that. Also, I want to know what the fuck Lemmings is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like first you think he's like a straight up bad guy, and then you get further in the story, he's working for Polka's. Is it his brother?
older
Brother.
brother.
Older
oh
bro-
wait, ooh.
Is it what's it?
Spoiler
I think
alert.
it's
Is
his
it
uncle. Yeah, but he's. I thought, oh, okay, he's automatically the one that killed Polka because
Yeah.
he was in. I saw the family photo and I immediately saw that he was in it. I was like, oh, this guy
The
totally
one who
killed him.
called the hit on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
All
like
right, he's Polka's half uncle.
half uncle.
uncle.
I
Half
was-
uncle.
Okay, fair.
He's a funkle.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is like you immediately assume, oh, he's the guy that killed him,
Mm.
Yeah.
and then it turns around, and you're like, wait, he might not be.
Yeah.
And then that one
I
shady.
immediately, the moment that I learned that he is the he like owns a security force, I'm like, he's not. He kind of reminds me of Byakuya, where he's too lawful good.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
like
I
he's,
see what you
he's
mean.
like gonna uphold the order. Like he would never
But
try to do
he's
something
using
like that.
any means he wants to.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of cool too. Is they're like, oh, they're not the richest people, but they literally have ties in everything.
Yeah.
Like they have cyborg people
Yeah.
and
Yep.
shit like that.
I
Yeah,
think
it's-
they mentioned that it's like, yeah, they're not rich, but their technology is insane.
Yeah,
Like they have insane amounts of technology.
It's
And I
super
love the grandfather.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh
they
my
ha-
god.
He is great.
But he's the father to Polka,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yep. Which is it's the family tree is all fucked up.
Because he married twice or something.
Yeah, but it's like I could immediately like the moment he saw it, and we're fast forwarding way ahead.
Yeah, we completely
but
forgot.
don't worry about it. But the moment that he was like, he sat him down, he's like, so who are you? I was like, I love him.
yeah.
I love him.
part of me like felt like, okay, this is gonna.
I
be how
love
it is.
characters like that,
Yeah.
where it's just like they just know, and it's like they're a good person most of the time when they're like that. where
Most
it's
of
like,
the time.
they're just no bullshit. I can tell that you're not, and I love that he was like, I'm a father, so it's like you're not
Yeah.
Polka.
Yeah.
But I also like that Polka was like, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And just like,
Yeah.
he's like, but the call's like, hey, get the people out of the floor and the ceiling. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa, fuck. Like, this
Yeah.
is different levels.
Didn't you
of
put the
stuff.
kid's soul in in the little plushie?
Yeah, the little shark.
The little shark plushie.
Yep.
I like that.
I thought that was kind of funny.
I got sad, and then they're like, oh, yeah, no, I put his soul in here. And it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
He was in the drone first, and now he's in the shark. But, like, he likes being the shark
Well, because he gets fucking cuddled in titties and stuff
So-
all the time.
by the person
Yeah.
that murdered
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's funny. He's like, "Why are you turning red? She killed you, man."
So the order of the events are he gets reincarnated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, he joins Clarissa's gang.
Yep.
After
Because
And
killing-
after
she
the
agrees
fire
to let him
and
hang out
everything.
in the building where all the tortures and shit happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which has a lot of souls, which is why he wants to hang out there
Yes.
because
Yeah,
as a
'cause
necromancer he can like
Feed off of the
forcefully-
he can
energy.
feed off the energy of souls, and then he could also make pacts with souls,
Souls,
that are
yeah.
left there,
Yeah.
and that's how he gets the soul that's trapped inside of the pen,
Mhm.
which he becomes a major character in Volume 3.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things when we were talking about earlier in the non-spoiler reviews where
Yeah.
it's like there's so many characters. They're like, they did the reveal. It was Hosagiki or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yep.
I was like, who?
Yeah.
And you forget that it's Penboy.
Yep.
So he gets that, and that's like an off the hand thing where he's like, "Yeah, watch, I could do it. Here, I'll put something in this pen," and then it's
Uh-huh.
like that is actually an important character
Yeah.
to the
whole,
detective
like,
that you meet.
part,
His
yeah.
backstory,
Mm-hmm.
mega important to his backstory. Apparently,
Also
that you,
important to Clarissa's.
yeah,
Yep.
important to Clarissa. So the two of the very important characters, this pen, this soul he put inside of a pen, you find out Volume 3.
Yeah.
Mega important.
But before that, all you think is like, oh, he's just a money hungry dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like you just think like, oh, it's just some random guy that he just
You
got.
kind of knew Clarissa, and
Yeah.
that was about
Yeah.
it, but you never got anything else.
Yep. So you
Wonderful
find out which
penmanship,
is
though.
great, and then you find out that he doesn't
Wonderful
have his
penmanship.
magic is not the best in this world. Like he's low
Yeah.
on magic.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And he
he's
doesn't have a
constantly
good way
running
to
out.
get it
yeah.
back because he
Yeah.
uses like jewels or like magic
It
storing.
Yeah,
Magic
because
storing
like,
jewels.
yeah, and he wants to go to the
The diamond
jewelry
shop,
store,
yeah,
right?
But
And
it's
he
like he doesn't realize how fucking expensive it is.
I love those little bits where it's like
Yeah.
comedy, like
Yeah.
what's the main girl's name?
Misaki?
Misaki, where she kicks the dude in the gut. He's
Yeah,
like, "Yo,
so
can I get a
good.
scan?"
Yo, that was
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
cool.
I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. So yeah, because I think we skipped the part where he killed the girl he killed in the beginning, Misaki.
Yeah,
He killed her, and then he brings her back as a zombie.
Yes.
which I thought was super
Which
funny
is sweet.
because they're like, "Oh,
And-
look, she's cold."
Yeah.
But they keep teasing that they're going to make her a vampire, too.
Yeah, I
Which
like that a
I'm
lot.
so
yeah.
good with.
Yeah. He's like, yeah,
Yep.
if I get a little more magic power, I could do it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, please. It's like, yeah. So
I-
that's definitely, I think, is something that's going to happen down the line
Mm-hmm.
because vampires seem strong, apparently.
Yep.
And so do,
Mhm.
he drops a lot of lore at one point on dragons.
Yeah,
They're
like-
broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
They're
broken
just,
as
very
fuck.
broken.
he just dumps info on dragons because, like, the technology guy, he's like, yeah, so let's compare worlds and see,
Yeah.
you know,
what
what's
this
good.
is. Yeah,
And they get stuck on the dragon. But he's like, yeah, this dragon can do that. This dragon, nobody really understands dragon magic, but the
Yeah.
dragon can do this.
I bet
This
I know who
dragon did
does.
that. It's like, oh,
Not
okay.
Seal.
I
Not
did.
Seal. Not Sue.
Stupid. There's his master, Polka's master.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. I
there's-
imagine they're going to show up at some point
Yeah.
because the Polka's master gets mentioned a lot.
Do you want to talk about like that last bit of the cliffhanger?
We will. We'll get to
Okay,
we'll
okay.
get to the
you
end.
just-
So because his master gets mentioned a lot, and so does the hero.
Yeah,
And
Calamity Crusher.
Yeah, and
Calamity.
I didn't read it, which maybe is a shame.
But it was the
but-
thing at the end.
But there's light
Oh
novels.
no, yeah. There's like
Oh.
little bits at the end
There's
of each
light
one.
novels at the end of the manga, which
Mm.
I ain't about reading. So
Yeah.
but I think some of that is about the hero and like what he's
Oh,
doing.
so it's probably like a
after
little bit of
like,
a backstory towards
backstory
him.
of like the other world.
Mhm.
And then they also show at one point, very shortly after you find out that it is the corpse god that got reincarnated, they go back to the hero, and he's so the corpse god talks about his backstory about how he had like a group of children at one point that he was looking after, which is really sad. And basically, people found out that a group of children were hanging out with a necromancer, and they it sounds like they did horrible things to those kids.
Well, they're in the picture.
Yeah,
they literally piked them up
and then like killed one of them, and then he showed up.
Vladimir the Impaler style.
Yeah, and they burned him alive.
Stuff. Yeah,
but then he turns around and fucking tortures them to the point where they're like, "Oh, please, we're asking for salvation." It's like, nah.
Yeah. So he turns around, fucks them up, and then right after that, there's a little bit where they show the hero, and he's reading his journal back in the other world.
Yeah,
and he's like, was he the good guy?
It's like,
he goes, and it's like, I like that a lot, where it's like that hero could have been such a cliche throwaway character you never see again. It's like, because we're pretty much done with that world as far as we know.
I think they're gonna revisit it.
Yeah,
like, coming up,
too.
like
But like very early, it's like, yep, we're done with that world. We're on this one now. We're probably not gonna ever visit that world. Who knows? We could. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I think the more logical thing is not, because I feel I kind of half-assed read them too. Like I read one page or something. There was parts where it was like the necromancer's mentor was fighting the hero, and it was kind of like, I want to talk to you kind of thing. It wasn't so much like, oh, I want to kill you.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk to you, and it's like your student says he was sorry.
Oh.
And it was like, so part of me thinks that with what you just said, the necromancer or the mentor is going to cast another spell because she's broken as fuck.
Yeah.
And then
because she's good at everything apparently.
Yeah.
She's super good. She's actually
like,
more powerful than the corpse god, right?
He mentions like she's good at martial arts. She's good at this.
She multitasks, dude.
She's
a beast.
Oh, and the random martial arts that they said was like Gadol or something. Yeah. It's in that little bit that I read. It's chains.
Oh, okay.
So it's catching people in chains and stuff
cool.
like that.
She could be like
that's cool as fuck.
Eraserhead catching stuff.
So and she apparently can do. I literally only read like 2 pages of this thing, and I was like, I'm too tired. But
and he's talking about the light novel, by the way. He read all the mangas.
yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, I don't know what's going on here, but she can do armor piercing shit with her hand.
Oh no shit.
She can like punch. Like she punched him in the gut, and I was like, "Yo."
I mean, when you see her, you could tell like, oh, she's probably a badass because she's very. When you meet her, very straight to the point. Like, I bought you. You're gonna belong to the Empire, but I'm gonna teach you how to achieve anything you want.
But the cool thing too is she's also where he gets that mentality where it's like, oh, toys are like precious things, and so you get that from her. It's like, oh, cool. So that's where he got it. But I would think that they're gonna make the hero like teleport to this world.
You think so?
Oh, so you think they're gonna bring back Calamity?
If they did something like that, and he just wants to talk to him.
Oh my god,
like,
it would be fucking funny to see like him in this world now because it's like it's basically what modern Tokyo at this point.
It is modern Tokyo.
Shinjuku,
the
city.
So it is modern times, and then it pretty much kicks off from there because I think another thing that happens where he fucks himself is he goes to save a kid from a fire.
Oh, and that's like in the first bit, right?
Yeah, he uses skeletons to save him. He does that very early on to kind of like prove he's a good person.
But it was so sweet though because it was the kid's parents,
and he asked them to help him.
I was like,
it was always so interesting because the art is fantastic in this. The art's really good.
So about the art, I loved how the beginning was more of like your stereotypical like shonen, very aggressive, kind of like hard, heavy lines, and then it cuts into the modern lines, well done, thin lines, thick bolts where it needs to be, kind of thing. So I picked up a lot on a lot of that, and I was just like, oh, that's really nice. And
that's true. I didn't think about it.
Because this is one of those mangas where it is written by someone and then drawn by somebody else. So it's like it's not the one person doing both bits. So I think that could work really well because then a lot of times the artist can spend all of his time doing it instead of like having to do the writing and the drawing.
Because I mean, we've seen it with Kubo. He started off doing tons of fucking backgrounds, and then towards the end of Bleach, it was almost no backgrounds.
It's a lot of work. It's a ton of work, but it looks fantastic in this. But they do the cool thing where it's like you kind of see what he sees because he has these eyes, right? Do you
what do you call them? Dead man's eyes?
No, the evil eye.
Evil eye.
Yeah. So he has eyes that lets him basically see like spirits and things like that. So you'll see kind of what he sees, and they always look fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like they look spooky as fuck. But then you'll eventually see like even more how he sees it. Is like they're just regular people. They're like people who have stuff left behind in this world, and they're usually good people. Like in the fire scenario, he goes to help them, and he finds out that his parents, like their parents, are dead because
they're still there.
It's a shelter for kids who've like lost their parents already, or their parents have gone off somewhere. So like they're like crying for somebody to help their kids, not let them die.
I thought it was sweet where he like the one kid's like, Dad?
And so like he like tells them, he speaks like, I'll do it. It's like I'll save your kids. And so he saves them, but it's like that causes the whole fuck up thing where there's cameras everywhere because it's modern day Japan. So it's like they can see the shadows of skeletons and stuff moving in there.
But I like how they're like, oh, it's totally this, but at the same time, it's like, oh, the internet's in uproar. Like, what is it? And that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Like, there's
like the
no
skeptic
bullshit
side,
answer.
and then there's
and
like,
that's when you start to first hear about the troublemakers. That they start coming, where they start trying to figure out who it could possibly be, and they're throwing out like fire-breathing bug, lemmings, all kinds of different names.
But when he was talking about those guys, I was like, oh, they're all shit guys. Like, they all sounded like B-list villains or something like that, and like only Lemmings was God.
Which you find out later is because the main detective keeps fucking naming all of them.
Yeah.
He's the one that keeps giving them all the names.
And it's like, wait, like the solitaire guy, he has nothing. He likes cards.
Yeah.
But it had nothing to do with him playing solitaire. He just, I guess,
he just
his
likes
name.
them.
Well, that and his name. Apparently, his name
It sounded like it.
Yeah.
And it was like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Like the grocer makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that guy
Yeah.
seems badass as
Yeah.
fuck too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like what is it? Phantom Solitaire is the or I think he renamed himself. It was just the Solitaire or something.
Was
like
it?
that.
Is it Phantom Solitaire?
That's what he's calling himself now.
Now.
He's actually a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So like the four main ones that we meet of the troublemakers, right? We have Lemmings, Fire-Breathing Bug, Phantom Solitaire, and the Grocer. That's it.
Yeah.
And then there was the pseudo fire-breathing bug.
Oh, the fake one.
Yeah.
So
it was fucking weird as fuck too.
But those are the four that we know of. There's more. They
There's
mentioned
the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, the Reaper.
We do actually meet him.
Do we?
Do we really?
Yeah. So let's fast forward. So he fucks himself with skeletons, and they know that there's somebody out there who could do stuff with skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of kicks off the whole thing. Like that's what sparks Phantom Solitaire to come back, because he's like, oh, somebody can actually do magic.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. So you find out that I don't know how it happens, but he accepts a job from Clarissa. Is that correct?
Oh, it's the
Or somebody comes with a job for Misaki.
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. So he says that he needs help being protected, and
Polka
was not supposed to be part of it, but
Yeah.
then he comes down and he accepts the job out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Find out later it's because he could see the spirits, and he was like,
Yeah.
And
Well,
they-
originally he's like, oh, I just did it for the money.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just needed a job, so I just said yeah.
yeah. But you can see there were spirits like asking for his help, and he's like, I'll help.
Yeah. Because it was kids or spirits that are like, this guy's killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
So basically, how the evil eyes work, right? If somebody has done like some evil shit, you see spirits attached to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, this guy fucked me over, or like
If
really,
they have
like, I
enough
need
of a
your
grudge
help,
or
yeah.
something.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can see like if someone's really a notoriously awful guy, you see like fuck tons of spirits like just fucking clinging onto this guy.
It's like
Just
when you meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So he accepts the job. He goes there. Fucks everything up. It was basically a trap to get rid of Misaki at that point.
Mhm. But she's already dead.
I thought that was fucking
she gets
funny.
shot
in the
yeah,
gut or
and
something.
she's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
Yeah.
It's like,
And then she uses a motherfucker to hit a
hit him.
motherfucker.
Yep.
she's great. She's a great character.
She is.
I like
she's so
when,
good.
when she discovers that biting people puts them in like a paralysis.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, so that was I like
Yeah.
that, and that's one of the other cool things I was gonna say. It's not just added, like
Yeah.
it's not just filler bullshit. Like, oh, I can do all this stuff. So that's why I'm thinking the dragons is actually gonna come back.
Yeah.
But
Because they dump a lot of lore on the dragons.
she does the numbing thing. She
Yeah.
tests it out, and then like a couple chapters later, Lemming shows up, and she goes to bite him.
Right?
Yeah.
He's got like bandages, right?
It's
So that's close after, because what happens, right, is they fuck everybody up at this spot, the Misaki, and nothing really. That's kind of like showing like
He
our guy's a
like,
badass.
he
Poke's-
like Garos
he
them, right?
twists everybody's
Yeah.
arms together.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, don't worry, I didn't kill him, but
Yeah.
twisted all of their arms together.
which
yeah.
is infinitely worse.
Yeah, and then locks them in like stone, which
Mhm.
is like the Gara part. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. But then they leave footsteps at the scene, so now like
Those
then
footsteps.
the
the
cops are
cops,
there,
yeah.
and you meet the main guy. I have everybody's names up here.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Subaki. You meet Subaki, and
Which one's
I
that?
thought
the other guy's-
Tsubaki was a chick name.
Subaki's the main Iwanome, the main detective, the blonde-haired guy.
Oh, okay.
And then Arase.
Is the
Arase,
black-haired
yeah.
dude?
Arase is the cool Yakuza. He got ex-Yakuza. You meet the two of them, the pair,
Yeah.
and they're in some sort
They're
of
funny as
special
fuck
detective
together.
agency.
Comp 3 or something like that.
Yeah, like inside the police department where everybody thinks they're kind of a joke.
Yeah.
But they like handle the really like fucked up cases.
They're basically the
Anti-Magic Association.
Yeah, basically. They're like, we know this isn't real.
Yeah.
So we're going to debunk it rather
Yeah.
than,
Well, that's their whole shtick, right? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, all these troublemakers out there who like they're above human capabilities. Like, we're gonna disprove them.
Yeah.
They mentioned somebody in particular, like, yeah, we disproved that guy. Remember that? We disproved
Yeah.
him. But so their kind of thing, like they show up on the scene, like, yeah, nobody else wanted to touch this thing, so here we are.
Yeah.
And they're like incredible. They're like both their characters are great. So great.
That's one of the cool things about the whole story is just like each side has good people. Like they're well written.
I kind of like the
it's
detective
fleshed out
side
enough.
way more than the Polka side.
Really?
I would have liked to have watched that way more.
I feel like we're getting more slice of life.
Yeah,
here
the
with
detective
Polka.
is cool. Yeah.
And so the detective. It's like whenever they bring him in, they've been.
I
Thinking.
like how fast paced it is though. When
It's
they
very
come in, it's
fast.
just like boom, 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 boom.
And I think part of that is because of Arase, the Yakuza guy. He's no bullshit. Like,
dude, he fought lemmings.
yeah, he just shows up and just starts kicking ass, which happens also. It's like you see.
What is it like a chapter later when they go to like Clarissa's?
Yeah, so right after they have the first fight where he twists everybody's arm, they're on their way back to Clarissa's and they immediately run into him almost instantly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like both the detectives like, hey, it's like,
What's a kid doing here?
like, yeah, they immediately start questioning him. They recognize the drone because the technology guy has basically, he's kind of like your classic neat character where he doesn't want to go outside. He likes 2D girls.
Yep.
Yada yada.
That one line, "Shut up, 3D" or something like that, cracked me the fuck up.
So Takumi, he likes staying inside and he watches by a drone.
Yeah.
And his whole thing, his original occupation was that he's a body retrieval person. So they kill people, he goes and moves the bodies, and
that's it.
Said and done.
Yeah.
So they're walking and they notice the drone, and then they notice the drone is walking with Polka, and
well, it's really the girl, right?
It's
originally the girl,
yeah,
but then
it's kind of both of them because they both kind of like, why are you guys hanging out with Takumi's drone? It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's my friend.
Yeah. So like Takumi tries to play it off and like not answer, and they're like, oh, we're just on the way to Clarissa's. And so, but they know they're up to no fucking good, so they keep pressing, and then fucking Misaki kicks Arose right in the gut.
Yep.
She makes it seem like, oh, he attacked me first.
Yeah,
Like, wait, what?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I thought he was gonna hurt me. It's like, oh, so sad. And then
she
they
teleported
dip
behind him, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And she went to go like attack him, and then he moved faster or something.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, he was gonna hit me.
Yeah, so she like basically showed up behind him and gave off like a threatening aura, which they talk about a couple of times. We're like, oh, I don't like to look in his eyes.
Yeah.
It's like they just tell. It's like you can basically anybody powerful, and that's like I can tell that guy's not a
He's
good
gonna
guy.
fuck shit up. Yeah.
So she basically does that, and he gets on guard, and then she's like, "Oh, I thought he was gonna hit me."
Yep.
It's like so she beats his ass, and they dip out really quick.
Yeah.
Which was a great scene, and then they go into Clarissa's, which is where all the good shit happens.
Yep. Dude, I was not expecting it.
Any
like
of
I
the
legit
good
was
shit
like,
happens
damn.
at Clarissa's, 100%. So they immediately
Girl
investigate
on
Clarissa
girl.
because she's apparently known for being like in the middle of basically all of
Everything,
it.
She's the mediator.
Yeah.
She
So
brings all the
you don't find out until
troublemakers.
later she's called the mediator, which is cool as fuck, by
I
the
think
way.
no, they talk about her as the mediator. Like,
I think they
pretty
do that
early.
No,
very
they
late.
do it later on.
Like when they
Yeah,
start
I don't
talking
remember
about
it
all the
early.
like all the actual troublemaker names, they mention her as like a nod, is that she's referred to as the mediator because she's the only one that they'll all talk to.
Oh, okay.
So that's when they kind of drop that knowledge when you find out like, oh yeah, there's all these troublemakers and they don't kind of hang out. So it goes there, and that's when it kicks off almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like they start asking questions like, what do you know about this happening?
Stressful.
Why do you have that kid that's like hanging out around there? And then like Clarissa starts getting put on the back foot. Like she's like, oh, I don't know if I can answer all these questions.
Yep.
And then the power goes out, right? Like that's what happens. And it's like, okay. Power goes back on and Lemmings is there.
I thought it was just kind of a random little bit. I'm like, oh
Well, the
shit.
power didn't go back on.
Okay,
no,
power staff, you're right.
Because Polka was able to sense
Yeah.
it, and he was like, "What the
'cause,
shit?"
Polka Misaki. Oh, I can't remember her name. Is it Misaki?
It's Misaki or Misakai or something. Like
Misaki. It's Misaki.
Misaki.
So Polka Misaki have entered the building, and power goes out, and then it's like, shit. It's like, and then you see Lemmings, and they mention the fact that Lemmings shows up and nobody knows why he's there, and everybody's freaked the fuck out. Like even the detectives,
Because they're like, "Oh, if he wanted to kill someone,
like,
it would be
oh, this is
over
not
by
good.
now."
Yeah.
The two of them are me like, oh, this is about to be fucked.
Well, even Clarissa was like, and they're like, one of her helpers was gonna grab a gun. She's like, don't.
Yeah.
If he was here to murder somebody,
It would have been, there would have been a body.
And but like right when that happened, fucking Arase, the ex-Yakuza guy jumps him just like instantly.
And he didn't do damage,
Yeah.
but he fucking got in there.
Yeah, very quick. He started to beat his ass, and he got flicked to the side pretty quickly, which is crazy because you see he's like a badass. The ex-Yakuza detective.
Yeah, he beat like fucking 8 dudes in an alleyway.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He's crazy. So, and that's when you kind of see the different power levels of stuff, and you see that Lemmings is like not a joke, you know?
Yeah.
Because he basically goes after Misaki.
Yeah.
And nobody knows why. And there's a part where they might talk about it later because even Misaki doesn't mention it after the fact. Like I think
whispered
Polka
something.
asked, and
Yeah.
Misaki's like, oh, I can't say. And yeah, because Lemmings whispers something to her, and then she kind of tells him something back to get rid of him. But that's after Polka and Lemmings fight. And this is the part where we meet the Grim Reaper, is because they're fighting really fast in the air, and they kind of have like a narrator moment sort of happen where they say, only 3 people actually saw what was going on.
Yep.
And one is Lemmings, one is Polka, and then the third is the Grim Reaper who snuck in undetected.
Yeah,
But
I was
you
like,
don't
what?
see him.
Yeah,
you don't see him.
You just show him. He's like a crudely drawn, shadowy figure.
Yep.
Like, and it's like those are the only 3 people who saw what's going on. I was like, oh fuck.
I was like,
Yeah.
because when it said 3, I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Misaki. Or
Yeah,
someone,
I thought it was gonna
like,
mention
no,
like
it's
like,
just-
like Clarissa or something.
yeah.
Maybe like secretly she could do it.
No, it's just Polka, Lemmings, and then Grim Reaper, and it's like, oh, that's
But
scary.
that's why, the lights were still off
Yeah.
because only they could see in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. But like, what blew my mind is like, so Corpse God has been Corpse God for what, thousands of years?
Long
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
Very long.
time.
Yeah.
He sees Lemmings the first second and freaks
Freaks
the
out,
fuck
right?
out.
Yeah, he was like chilled to the bone. Do you think it's because he didn't have all of his like?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
I
right,
definitely, I agree.
And
it's
he
part of it.
mentions before, I don't know if it's before this fight or after, that close range he's no good.
Yeah.
So, because he mentions before in the previous world, he would always have bodyguards, like
Yeah.
the people he would bring
His
on
master
to do it. Yeah.
though, good
could
at everything.
fuck
Yeah.
everything.
But he's like, him, I need casting time and stuff, so I cannot do the close range stuff. If I do close range, I'm fucked.
But yeah, that the Lemmings fight was cool. The Lemmings like graphic of like all the dead people. He's like, he's not magical, but
Yeah.
he's fucked up some people.
Yeah.
But so it was cool with Lemmings saving or fighting the fake fire breathing
Yeah.
bug.
Yeah.
I love the like just literally that one photo of him just saying like shh.
So because you see Lemmings, actually, I think you see him talk to Polka's half uncle really early.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just didn't realize until like you officially see that they're working together. I was like, oh, that's the guy. Because
Yeah.
you see Lemmings go to report to him like
Yes.
very early
yeah,
on.
yeah.
And I did not put the two
I
and two
thought it
together
was
for
like-
a long time.
So I think they show the family photo and you don't see the uncle's
Yeah.
face in there and you're like, oh, I wonder if this guy's done it and you don't know who he
Yeah.
is. And then the next chapter, I think they show the family photo and he's right next to Polka and you're like, oh God, he's the one that killed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he's not now because you're not
Yeah,
sure.
We're
it's
just
kinda
not
confusing
sure,
because the
right?
next arc after that is you meet Polka's family, the Shinoyama clan, I think
Yeah.
is the name of that.
Shinayama, yeah.
And you go there, and they're basically wondering where the fuck Polka went.
Yeah.
And so he has to now have to go there and meet the family and say like, hey, I'm okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to be on guard because the whole manga started with Polka being killed, and that's how this guy got reincarnated
Mhm.
because Polka got killed.
Yeah.
So the whole thing, it's like it turns sort of almost like a murder mystery
Mm-hmm.
going through the whole thing where it's like somebody in this family wants to kill me, and they mention when he shows up that like half the family's missing. They're not even there at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only people that are there are this 6 people, and there's one guy you meet immediately, the larger guy who's
Yeah.
immediately like
He's like he married into the family.
yeah. You see him immediately as like, oh, he's no good. That guy's no good. You
Yeah.
immediately know that.
But then you think because he sees Polka walking up, he's like,
Yeah.
just burn it all down.
Yeah.
And, he's not even the bad guy. Like he's
Yeah,
a
so
bad
you-
guy.
So yeah, so what happens in that is basically they talk, whatever, it's all good. You meet more of the characters, which is great. We're just gonna fast forward that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you find out the grandfather immediately knows that Polka is not who he
Not
says he
Polka.
is.
wait, I thought he was
and
the dad.
as they're mid conversation about that, he's like, I need to go save my nephews, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's like, okay, it's
Yeah.
like I can tell you're a good guy, go do
Yeah.
it. So basically, the house gets set on fire by who we think is the fire breathing bug.
But it's just a
The
psychopath.
OG one.
You finds out that it is just a fake, and it's someone pretending to be that because everybody knows the name of the troublemakers. So there's a lot of money to be made in that.
Yeah.
So he saves them, and the fire breathing bug gets away, the fake one, and you think that it's all good, and he's gonna escape, and just then like, is it Polka that notices him? Because he
He
fake
says he can
he
see
sees-
two people
yeah.
through the fire. It's
Yeah.
the fire breathing bug, and then Lemmings comes in, right? Or,
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, no. What I'm talking about
Well-
is they think the fire breathing bug got away, and then but he uses faces to disguise, like he steals other people's
Yeah.
faces.
Ooh, very fucking
And that's
crazy.
when Polka also sees like, I can see 2 spirits following you, and one is the guy who originally his disguise he stole, and then one's the person that you're wearing.
Yeah.
And then Misaki shows up and kicks the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, I can't see you, but
Yeah.
But, you know.
yeah.
Well, she said the to the kids when she first fought the his first form.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, I can't see you," to the chick that was
Yeah.
mourning for her sisters
Yeah.
or her siblings. She's like, "I can't see you, but Polka said you're there,
Yeah.
so I'll believe him." And I was like, "Oh, that's so heartwarming."
Yeah.
But
So, and then, he goes to basically escape again and sets more stuff on fire.
Mhm.
And that's when Polka's like,
there's two.
I'm not going in there. There's 2 people in there.
Yeah.
And then you see his lemmings, and
Yep.
it's like, oh, fuck. It's like,
But it's just so powerful because Lemmings just literally like and then disappears.
yeah.
Yep.
I was
Which
like,
is cool because I like that he's not just like, I'm going to fuck you up right now. He's like,
Yeah.
I've only been sitting here for this fucking guy.
yeah.
Yep.
So don't tell anybody. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Lemmings reminds me of Rorschach.
a little bit. Yeah,
Like,
like same sort of covered face
yeah,
thing
yeah.
and just a badass.
Exactly.
It doesn't speak for some reason,
Mhm.
but like
He
clearly
does,
he
though.
can whisper.
Yeah.
But it's just, he
because
doesn't.
that's like when we meet him when he reports.
So I get the feeling he will eventually be a good guy, or kind of like.
Do you think we're gonna get to see him without his like cover up?
I don't know if we'll ever see him without the cover up. I think we will get a backstory for him, obviously, and then I could see him being a kind of Vegeta like character.
Yeah,
where he is a bad guy, but he's really a good guy. I can see that very much being a thing.
So part of me, so when you see him first through Polka's eyes, he's just like all fucked up looking. Like there's just
Yeah.
death everywhere. But like he's all bandaged up. I don't think it, like the more I've read it, I think it kind of doesn't fit, but I feel like he's just a bunch of dead souls in like one
like
body.
an embodiment
Possible.
of kind of thing, like a vengeance type of thing.
Yeah.
But Shini, they're known for the fucking tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he's broken powerful. He's not magical though.
Yeah.
So he could be like a fucking robot.
I
Yeah,
think he'd be
he
like a
could be.
cyborg, and then just has like all these
Yeah.
souls kind of like trapped in there. That's kinda
maybe
yeah,
that's it.
that'd be
'Cause
kinda
they
cool.
already have one character that is a cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget his.
I forget his
the
name.
trap's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. And then I liked when you meet the fire breathing bug for the first time, the real one. Like it's just totally weird. He blows up. He's all
Yeah.
panicky. Everyone's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And then he's like singing a fucking lullaby. What was it, like Splishy Splashy
Yeah.
or something like that?
It's trying
It's
to go for like
wild.
the
So
creep
it's like 'cause
factor.
I thought it was a little weak when they're like, "Oh, the fire breathing bug immediately taken out." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
he's not that much of a troublemaker. He's
Yeah.
gonna go down that quick."
So I didn't.
But that's
realize-
when you find out it's like, "Oh, he's not."
He's not the real one.
So I thought he, before they revealed that he was the fire breathing bug,
Yeah.
I thought he was the Grim Reaper.
Oh.
And I was
Oh.
like, "Yo, like."
Yeah.
I don't know. I
that
expected
guy
the Grim
just-
Reaper to still look like, if they do did show him, it looked like different.
I'm
Like-
He'll show up later.
Yeah.
so that's one of the main reasons I want to like continue.
Continue.
Reading.
You
Besides
wanna-
the
you want to
fucking
see who it
cliffhanger.
is?
The
Yeah.
cliffhanger was super good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that takes more setup. So we meet a lot. We pretty much at that point, the moment the real fire breathing bug
Bug.
shows up, we immediately meet like all the other troublemakers,
Yeah.
like the main
Yeah.
four.
Grocer,
Yeah. Phantom
Pri-
Solitaire,
and
because he's
then-
getting information from him, and it's like instantly comes out. Like he's like, "Oh, it's like you mean him?" It's like maybe that wasn't him. Or it's like,
Yeah.
"What about the second half of the line that everybody else doesn't know?" And it's like,
Yeah,
"Oh shit, okay."
yeah,
And that's when he mentions that, you know, because they're showing him the footage of the skeletons and stuff. Well, because they
Yeah.
caught Phantom Solitaire who turned himself in.
yeah.
And that's when he's like, "Oh, there's someone out there who could actually use magic." He's like, "I want to go." It's like,
And then he breaks himself out. Like,
Yeah.
So he literally just turned himself in just to hang
Yeah.
out in jail. He's like, "Oh, you know, I
He
tried."
just wanted the 3 squared meals, dude.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
He wanted. He's like, "Oh, I'm not getting enough publicity." I'm like, "You're like one of the most famous people." And he's
Yeah.
like, "No, the people who can really do magic haven't said anything, so it's just over."
And then, really, the last important part of Volume 2 is you find out that Takeru, the half uncle,
Yeah.
he has like a gang
Yeah.
of people that he like.
Big titty gang.
Yeah, like because you see Lemmings and he looks like he's kind of the leader of that group, but then there's the two you see, and then there's like a few more shadows where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, there's more.
That's what was it tripped me out. I was like, "Oh, he's got 3 like super good dudes,"
Yeah.
and then you start looking at the feet, and it's all the different.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh fuck, he's got a."
So it's
fucking
like
crew.
there's more powerful people that they're gonna introduce later
Mhm.
because he's got like a fucking group of
Yeah.
powerful ass people that he has, like that he keeps. And I love when the detectives show up at the house and Takeru comes out with his 2 bodyguards and he's like, "That
Okay.
guy in the back is a killer."
Yeah,
like-
he's like, he smells like me.
He's like, yeah, yeah. It's like that is a no go. It's like, oh
Yeah.
shit. And he's so good about everything. Like Takeru, when he's talking to him, is like, "Don't you guys have other things to do?" It's like, don't try and make us look bad. Huh? It's like,
Yeah.
oh
Dude,
shit.
he was roasting.
He
them.
was like sly roasting them
It
constantly.
was great, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't believe this
Yeah.
hurts to hear."
Yep. And then so we get to the 3rd volume pretty much at that point, right?
Yeah.
And that's when it really starts to all come together. Like
Mhm.
I feel they did. It's so weird. I feel like the first 2 volumes all set up leading towards like this big thing. Like
But it didn't feel
Yeah.
like
it
the entire
didn't.
time.
I agree.
It's because it did the thing where it was like a little bit of a story, filler, story, fill.
Why would you
story.
even call it filler? Because it was like incredible. Like I reading it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. This is good. And then the 3rd volume was like, oh fuck, all that stuff is coming together
Yeah.
into one
Yeah.
big thing. Like
Mhm.
it's all leading towards something. And that's basically the whole 3rd volume is setting up this thing.
Yeah.
Where now Polka is a fortune teller,
Which I love.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
And he uses his eyes to see what the spirits are saying. And then
Mhm.
he has a
Well, he also has one eye with what's his face, just reading the fucking
Yeah.
computer.
so he's
Yeah.
like doing all the information, hacking on him,
Yeah.
and he's got the whole setup. And then he's got the spirit pen who like
Yeah,
writes
Starts
something.
writing.
Yep.
But
So-
he can communicate with the spirit pen. He's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, write this down," and he does it.
Yeah.
Oh, so fucking.
So they have a great setup, and they have the whole thing, and they're making tons of money.
Mhm.
And that's when the main detective shows up, and like he's like, what are you guys doing? It's like
those guys
that was
always showing up.
It was so stressful. Like, I genuinely can't tell you how stressful it was to watch that scene. It's just like, how do you get out of this?
I think this would be adapted into an anime so well. Like,
I think
because
it'd do
the
great.
voice, if you get the voice of the two, it's like, so what are you guys
just
doing?
even music.
Yeah.
Just like some like creepy like.
Because like it really
suspense.
is tension shit all the time. Because like it's basically a lot of the scenes are two parties. They both know what the other person has done. They're just trying to get them to fuck up.
But
Yeah.
basically admit
like
it or
all of it.
It's
Like,
like, it's
and
like
all like
Death
a
Note
fucking
all
wire.
over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
It's like Death Note all over
Definitely
again.
has that vibe where it's just like everyone knows
Knows
what's
that-
going on.
Yeah,
but we
and it's
can't
like,
pin it.
oh, I know you did it. Nah,
it's
really
it's really good.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
because they're both just poking at each other. Like,
Yep.
who's gonna fuck up first? Like, let's see it.
I like it.
But
Yeah.
the fucking like the main cop guy, always cool.
Yeah.
The blonde dude.
That's what freaked me out is when he snapped. Like,
Yeah.
and you immediately grab the
Because he can
Polka.
even do the thing where like he's hanging out at Clarissa's bar all the time.
Yeah.
He'll look drunk but then not be. And they mention
Yeah.
it. They're like, I've given him so much alcohol at one point and he's fine every
Yeah.
time. It's like he snaps out of it instantly. It's like magic.
It's fucking crazy. But
Which
yeah.
makes me think that he's like acting. Like
Yeah.
he's like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
act drunk and see if they let their guard down.
He's just doing the little.
Yeah. Well, no, I bet he's really drinking it because, like, they've said, like, I'm sure they've watched him drink it before, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's totally just playing into it. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna wait and see if they fuck up when I'm
Yeah.
drunk.
Yeah.
But fuck so it's just so wild to see that character be
Yeah.
the one to snap.
Yeah.
And like he would have fucked up Polka right there. Like
Yeah,
he
he
was
would,
genuinely pissed.
Yeah.
And then you find out it was like his old commissioner was the only one who knew about that symbol, immediately burned the symbol after
Yeah.
showing it to
Because he
him.
drew it.
So,
It's-
do
so
you
was that
remember-
him,
so-
right?
Yeah, it was
It
him.
is.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
the flashback,
Yeah.
it's like, wait, why has he got black hair?
Yeah. So that is him. And then they talk about something happened to him where he got ousted from the police force as commissioner.
Because he was
Because
the
he-
scumbag finding scumbag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was the guy from what I could get from it. He was
was
the guy
the
who was
Punisher.
basically like taking care of the corrupt cops inside of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they didn't like that, and the main detective, what's his name, Tsubaki, he thinks he's still alive.
Yeah.
So that's why he got pissed. Like, how do you know what that symbol is?
Exactly.
Because like only the two of them should know, but he does not know that he's already dead and he's passed on it inside the pen. And that's
Yeah.
when you find out the main character or the spirit inside the pen is mega important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But before that, he was just like a pen that liked to roll
Yeah.
in paper and is like
He's a pen,
red,
loved money,
Yeah.
loved doing his thing, and now you find out that he's insanely important to both the detective and Clarissa.
Yeah, and then he immediately after getting the fortune telling,
Yeah.
he like calms down and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll pay you extra or something like that." And then he goes
And it seems
straight
like he gives him a fuck ton of money.
He
'Cause-
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And-
Pogo's like, I can't take that.
It's,
Which
it's
is-
for the
yeah.
it's for the diamonds, dude. It's
Yeah.
for his. What do they call him?
Magic
Storing
stones or something
Yeah.
like that. But he immediately goes to Clarissa and just like fucking rips into her like, "You're the only other person I think
Yeah.
would know about this. Why are you telling this kid about this
Yeah.
shit?
Yeah.
Like fucking tell me." And she's like, "Oh, you think he's still alive?" And he's like, "He totally is."
I
Yeah.
was surprised she said something like that because
Because
like
I thought she was gonna be coy.
yeah, because like he was like, yeah, how is like where
Yeah.
like I know he's out there, and she's like, oh, so you think he's still alive?
Yeah.
Like she's not saying it, but she's like, I don't think that at
Yeah.
least.
But you when you go back
It's
and
the
like,
tone and how like it was presented
Yeah.
more of
Yeah.
like the.
which when you just there's tone through the whole
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
which is like it's so crazy.
I just
like
think
you-
it's well done because it's like not just like the characters' faces, the way
Yeah.
the movements, and I mean like that part is so fucking serious that you're just like holy shit.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna BS her way out.
I
of that.
seriously, I can't understand how much I love any part there at Clarissa's bar.
Yeah.
That's where like he even mentioned the first volume, he was like, I'm just hanging out here because this is where everything happens.
yeah,
I'm on that boat.
Yeah.
It's like I'll just sit there all day.
it is so fucking. But like, there was like a random bodyguard that came out and like grabbed him by the face because he
Yeah.
slapped some chick's ass.
Yeah. That
But-
was really early
But
on.
you don't see her almost like ever
Yeah.
again. You know she's there, like they have her
Yeah.
in like little bits, like oh she's with Clarissa's gang, but you never see her out in the open again.
Yep.
But yeah, no, totally. But oh, fuck, what was I gonna say?
Well,
I wish I could read Japanese because part of me reading this, like obviously, you know, the translations were really
I
well
get
done.
exactly what you mean because it's
But
like
I want to read the tone that they
yeah,
wrote.
it's like when we're
because-
watching, with subs.
Yeah.
There's
Dude,
certain
okay,
jokes and
There were a
things.
couple of words in that I got fucking confused
Yeah.
on. I'm not even joking.
Mhm.
So, do you guys know what Novio Riche? No,
Nah,
No.
it went over
I
my
don't-
head.
There was a couple times where they said some words and it was like that.
Nouveaueau is the first word, and then Riche. Nouveau riche.
Oh wait, I kind of remember this.
No.
So they mentioned that when the two nephews first walk in to see Polka,
Oh.
the tech guy calls him Nouveau riche, and I was like,
What the fuck is that?
I was like, I read that. I was like, is that a mistranslation in the book? It's
No.
like,
Yeah.
what is going on
I
here?
just-
and I Googled it, it's legitimately a term.
It just means like newly rich, right?
Newly, so
Oh,
it means
okay.
newly rich. I Googled it. I have it up here on the screen.
Because I read it too, and I think I
was just
translated it as
confused,
rich.
yeah.
So it means recently acquired wealth.
I thought it was
Typically
just
those-
like a new thing. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was like money related.
So it's typically those perceived as ostentatious or lacking in good taste. So newly rich people who are like assholes.
yeah.
So that's basically what that means. Because I
Or your
read
new
that
money.
and I was like, the fuck was that?
new
like-
money.
Yeah, because I remember that too.
Yeah.
But I immediately like,
And then there was one other time where it makes total sense thinking about it now, but it threw me off so bad I had to Google it. When she was like, let's exchange emails, Addies, or like email Addies.
Addies.
I was like, the fuck is somebody named Addie? Is like
Yeah.
somebody a nickname
It
named
was
Addie?
like it was like the tag, like your username, pretty much.
yeah,
your
it's just
address.
short for
Yeah, yeah.
addresses. It just
Yeah, I didn't know, but that's just what I figured it was.
I seriously had to Google
yeah.
it.
I only knew that because one of my coworkers used that
Oh,
like
really?
literally a month ago or something like
Oh,
that.
Those
okay.
were the two things that legitimately I can remember reading that. I was like, the fuck does that mean?
Yeah,
It's like-
but that was kind of cool because like they translated it really well.
Yeah.
Did you notice though? They never really brought attention to it. Polka died with all white hair, and when he
he had the little
he has
yeah
the red
the
lash now,
yeah.
but it's not blood or anything. So I'm curious what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Stylistic
'Cause-
choice, I guess.
But like we were saying earlier, like nothing's done
We've
without.
never seen him take a shower. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
the red
Yeah,
never washed out. The red never washed out.
Misaki's gonna finally show tits someday. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how old she is, but maybe we
Dude, that
gotta
one
wait.
scene where she's just like, oh look,
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
tits out.
Which, by the way, we didn't mention. She had a great performance when she went to the family house. She
Yeah,
went to the family house with
she
Polka,
all dressed
and
up.
She changed
Yep.
like her personality completely.
But then you found out she's not royalty. She's
from a rich family
Yeah.
herself.
yeah,
Like
steel barons,
yeah.
pretty much.
She's like
Yeah.
a noble.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, this is where it all came from. But her backstory hurts.
Wild.
Like,
Yeah.
so she saw her parents get murdered in front
Yeah.
of her,
Yeah.
and it was a guy that was hired by Clarissa was his
Yeah.
protege,
Yep.
or was her protege, and I don't think he was even there to kill them. He just killed them
Just to
because
do it.
he
Yeah.
wanted to. And she ends up being Misaki gets told by Clarissa, he's killing too many people. Like they're innocents. It's making us look bad.
Yeah.
Kill him. And then she fucks him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
With the was it the nail gun, right?
Nail gun, and I don't know.
Well, she
what,
mentions having doing that multiple times. 'Cause
Well, she
when
says she
learns
likes to
gets
have
the,
it with
she
the
gets
paralyzing
bite thing.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I don't have to use the nail gun anymore.
yeah, it
Yeah.
saves
It's like,
money on nails.
Jesus.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, do you remember? And it's like, the way she acts about it is like, oh, you're trying to get some
Yeah,
revenge.
she's
like,
psycho.
No.
Yeah.
No, I just want to kill myself now. I want
Yeah.
to see if I can. Yeah.
And that part was fucking cool. She's like, I haven't figured out if I could kill myself.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh,
Jumps off. Wait, my phone rang.
Like that
Yeah.
was so fucking dark.
Which is like it comes back into play because she stops because the phone rang because like Polka's still alive. And then when she's talking to the family, she's like, "Oh, he saved me from killing myself," or like, and it's
Yeah.
like, and they're all like, "Oh, it's true,"
Yeah.
because like it is true.
And it's so wild because the way she talks about it as like fake Misaki, it's like, oh wow, like she's normal.
Yeah.
She has like this total train of
And
thought.
I
like,
forget
he
who
saved
mentions
me.
it, but they're like, I think maybe it might be Polka's inner monologue, but it's like, oh, she's trained by Clarissa, so of course she's
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
She's able to switch on
incredibly
and
good
off.
at
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't play that too often.
Yeah.
But when they did, it was fucking I mean, I every once in a while I'll pull myself out. I was like, obviously she's amazing
Yeah.
at this because the writer made her amazing at this. But at the same time, like I didn't feel it's like
He played it off really well though. Like
Yeah.
the whole.
I didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
anything was forced. Like it seemed like it could have been a natural part of their character. So it was I think everything was
So-
super well written.
Let's go to the big climax.
Okay.
Very end of Volume 3. It all sets up. We've all mentioned it. It's based off of the fortune telling reading that Polka gave the detective, where the pen draws a symbol, and that kicks off everything.
Yep.
Phantom Solitaire has left. He's hijacked a TV station or the TV signal.
Yeah.
So he's broadcast himself all over both the radio and the TV.
Because
Basically,
the grocer bought them all.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he talked to the grocer who is in jail, But they talk about how such an enigma he is, where
Well, Grocer's the one that bought out all the news stations, is what they said.
Yeah. But they talk about how the enigma, or the grocer is an enigma because he has a store set up inside of the
prison.
like the prison, or his little jail cell where he's at, and they can trace his like lineage of being the grocer all the way back to like feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like they were saying like he's like the 5th in line or something of being the grocer, and they've always had like intel on everything.
Yeah. But they're like, oh, it's a super strict place. We don't understand why he gets to have this. And it's like, oh, he's just got clout. Like he literally pulls the strings in the government.
It's literally, they say he made a deal with the government.
Yeah.
Then that's how it happened. It's like, wow, okay. And then even when the Phantom Solitaire hijacks the thing, first thing, oh, he must have got the grocer to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So Phantom Solitaire gets on and he basically says he's going to do his grand performance. Mm-hmm. He's going to give the police 7 days. And then he basically heavily implies he's going to kill them. Like, he's like, I'm going to give you guys your last 7 days. Enjoy them.
Yeah.
And so hard cut from that to the Phantom Solitaire is talking to the real fire-breathing bug. And he's trying to convince him to join him. He's like, join me.
League of Super
I might have something with you. They fight. They have a crazy fight on the roof.
Yeah.
Like fucking playing cards for days coming out of nowhere. Like, I don't know what's going on.
The fucking balloons.
Yeah.
And it's just fire everywhere. But at no point did fire-breathing bug move.
Yeah.
Everything just caught
and he
fire
only
around
talks
him,
through the phone,
which was funny as fuck.
Yeah. So it's like even when he's close to him, like at the very end of the fight, and the phone is on the other side of the roof, he's still talking through the phone.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like okay, it's like I guess he's just that.
Yeah. And then after that, fire breathing bug goes to this one place, and it's like a bunch of troublemakers or whatever. He kills them essentially, and then. Was he working with Solitaire? Do you remember?
So he's working with Solitaire. At that point, So at that point, the fight ends up where it's kind of like nobody knows if they are working together because like they're both just at an impasse. Mm-hmm. And then you see the fire-breathing bug. First you see some like criminals like we need to get something out of the vault before we go. The building's on fire. It's like we need to go. So they go to get into the vault, and then the 2 guys behind him get fucking incinerated. It's like, fuck. It's like, so he opens the vault, kills that guy, and then Phantom Solitaire shows up, and he's like, oh, this is what I was looking for. It's a little, like,
it's a clip.
Like scroll thing.
Almost, yeah.
And it's on human skin, is what they make it sound like.
Speculated
human skin, and it's the same symbol that was drawn by the pen when Polka was given the reading.
But that's what was funny to me is I couldn't tell if they were working together because Phantom Solitaire is still looking over like the edge. Yeah. Like he's hiding. But the only thing that I think gives it away is fire breathing bug what's he call him? He refers to him, he's like, go in there, you little critter or something like that.
Probably just refers to him as a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, was
or
it a bug?
moth that wants to go into the flames or something.
Yeah. Go little moth into the flames, and he goes in and steals the thing. Yeah.
Which is great. I love all the troublemakers. They're great so far.
But like I said, they were all considered like B-listers until Solitaire came through, and then it just blew them all into like this. Because you thought literally Lemmings was the only one, and the fire-breathing bug was like this fake thing. It was a stupid-ass name. But it's just because his catch line.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was pretty cool, but you were saying going to the...
So they go to this symbol, and nobody knows what the fuck it means. Even Polka is like, I didn't draw that. Yeah. Or he didn't know what the symbol was. Yeah, because
didn't see it.
Polka didn't see it because the pen drew it, and then the detective took it immediately. Was like, what the fuck did you just draw?
Yeah.
So Polka is like, I don't know what it was because the pen just drew it by himself. Like that's the one thing, and that's when the pen admits like, oh yeah, I'm this guy, and I have unfinished business, and that was me. Yeah. I drew that because that was like my thing. And then cuts back to now the Phantom Solitaire is broken back into the police station to talk to the grocer.
Yep.
And you find out more about the grocer, about how he requires like a payment to get information, and it doesn't have to be money. It could be info for info.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got fucking nothing. It's just like it's like
he tries, you know cards?
Yeah. He tries to tell him about playing cards, tries to tell him about all this shit, and the grocer's like, yeah, and by the way, your stocks for Phantom Solitaire are way down.
So fucking funny. That little infographic next to it too is perfect.
Yeah, so it's like they can't really figure out, and then eventually the grocer's like, I will give you a little bit of info on it.
Yeah.
And he tells us just about the same info as he tells him it looks like, where he's like, the symbol, each line represents something. It's like that's like a sword or something.
Yeah.
And then it cuts away. And it's like, okay, I don't know what that means. And then the 7-day time limit is up, and you look into the sky, and you cut back to Polka, and there's blimps everywhere with that symbol on it.
Yep.
And
it reminded me of the Fire Nation.
Yeah, a little bit. And then Polka looks up at the sky and is like, why? It's like, I thought I was in a different world. Like, why is that symbol here?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you find that it's pretty much identical to the Imperial Army symbol, right? Is that what it was?
The Fallen
Fallen
Empire.
Empire.
Fallen
Yeah.
Empire symbol.
Yeah.
And he's like, that should not exist in this world.
Yeah.
And that's the big the big cliffhanger is like, Phantom Solitaire is doing his attack.
Yeah.
Who knows what it's going to be? And Polka's like, that should not be here. It's like,
Well, because the other thing is like throughout it, Polka is like, oh, I did my research. It seems like we were from the same world, but we split at some point.
Yeah.
And then slowly further on, it kind of seems like, oh, well, I'm in a different world totally.
Yeah.
Now. And they do the other thing on the reincarnation spell. He's like, oh, I was only supposed to come to my first of kin.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I like the Shiniyama family could possibly be related to the corpse
Yeah.
god. So I think the 4th volume is going to go into that where the corpse god
It's gonna kick off in that little.
Yeah, which is
mini
going to
war.
be interesting as fuck because it's kicking everything off
Yeah.
because it's connected to the Shiniyama family. It's fucking the detective's backstory is really heavily involved
Yeah.
with the symbol, and he's gonna see the symbol ever. Same thing
Yep.
with Clarissa. The
Yeah.
pen is
Yep.
gonna be a big part of it.
Yeah.
So
The
it's
fucking
all
pen.
kicking off, and it just ends. It's just like done.
I will say, so we've made the joke like, oh, why do we always end on a cliffhanger? Like, obviously they have to have some
Yeah.
reason for
Something
you to
to
come
keep
back.
you. But I think the whole reading up to the 3 volumes, and this is a perfect example of it. It's setup, and then delivery, and
Yeah.
then it's just like now it's like the making you want more.
And this one's the epitome of that so
Yep.
far.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what the Fallen Kingdom is. It's just literally, I always love when they just do a picture and then they have the chat bubbles like, oh, it's a picture of the Fallen Kingdom or something like
Yeah.
that. And you're like, oh, this is fucked.
Yeah.
It was like Hinoga Crush where like they show all the deadly stars or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
the
like,
background.
no. Or the guy showing up like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck, this is bad. And it gives you that vibe. One of the other scenes, it was like really early on. It's when, what's the Yakuza guy?
Arose? Yeah.
When Arase is first talking to Polka and he doesn't know who Polka is, and Polka just flat out calls him out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, he's like, oh, he's a scumbag, blah, blah, blah.
Aren't you?
Your friend, he's like,
Yeah.
aren't you the same? Or something like
Yeah,
that. And it's just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that was a cool, like that whole
Yeah.
scene, even though it was like what, maybe like a 5-minute part, in real life
Yeah.
time. He catches a drone, says your friend's shit, and then they kick him and they leave.
Yeah.
Very good. Like
Yeah.
it is just insanely good how much they set up with just that and how much they put on the floor. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. I will go out of my way to try and read this.
All right. Any final thoughts? We want to talk about the next manga we're doing?
Oh shit.
Oh
yeah, we
shit! I
gotta
forgot
reveal.
about that. To be completely honest,
Yeah, so this is gonna be for our May.
This will be May. So we'll be back in May. First Friday of May is when we'll be done reading and talking about the next manga. So this has been done. This was April's pick. This one will be for May. So the next book in the theme of being quarantined, we're doing a digital one. So no physical
Ooh.
manga. So stay at home, everybody. Don't go to a bookstore. We're doing Tokyo Revengers is what it's called.
Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah. So and this has been blowing up online. We got like a nice little underground following, and I think it's pretty far into it, but it has no physical release.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no physical release for it, so it's actually
That's
impossible to
convenient,
get
actually.
a physical volume. So we're doing a digital one because everybody should be staying at home, guys. Okay,
Stay
come on.
home, everybody.
So a quick synopsis of what I know about this one is basically the main character, his girlfriend gets murdered by a gang.
Oh.
Okay.
And then in order to get revenge, he joins a gang and has to like go
The
up the gang
Revengers.
and go.
Okay.
So that's basically the storyline of this one. It's supposed to be very, very good. And it's only available digitally, which is so weird because I think it's pretty much close to done.
Huh.
So
Sick.
I don't know why that's the case, but maybe we'll find out and we'll see. So there's already 12 volumes out of this thing. And
Damn.
there's no
Yo.
physical release.
Okay.
So
All right.
there will be pictures on the screen for it. We're going to be doing Tokyo Revengers the first Friday of May. So read that. If you have any thoughts of your own on what you thought of Dead Mount Death Play, or if you've read it before, let us know because we're all caught up. This is the only 3 volumes that are out at the
I
moment.
think your question earlier, like, oh, what's your final? We agreed on it earlier. We still don't know why it's named Dead Mountain Death Play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
If
that.
you
if
know
we-
why it's named Dead
yeah.
Mount Death Play, leave a comment
Or if you have
because
theories.
I'd love to fucking
I'd like.
know.
Yeah, we'd love
Yeah.
to know,
So,
please.
the Death Play part I kind of get. Where's the Dead Mount part come into?
Mhm.
I was telling you guys earlier. I was like, when he first dies, and it's drone guy. I still can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Drone guy's like, oh, this isn't right. made me think that the Corpse God world was a video game, and he woke up and he's no longer in a video game world. It was really weird. I didn't know what was going on. So I thought, oh, that's where the death play comes out. But yeah, it's completely out of the way. It's fucking wonky.
No.
If you want to comment on the video, or if you end up wanting a suggestion or something, like that would be fucking cool too.
Yeah.
We have a hashtag for Mangaku, right?
Yep. Yes, we do.
It's just Mangaku, but with an L, just like Otaku is. So tweet at us and do shit like that.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram at the Otaku. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, like we do this monthly. So and we do a podcast every week. So if you can't get enough of us, we're there.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next month. If you're only watching Mangaku, how fucking dare you?
But I mean, still, like this would be the cool one for somebody to literally like.
Yeah.
I'm only checking in once a month with these guys because Mangaku. If we got you for a reason, we got you.
All right. So see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, congrats.